Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from IPR365.com and podweather.com with an update on the tropics, and boy, things are active as they should be this Labor Day. You can see we have Hurricane Gustav, which made landfall as a powerful Category 2 hurricane earlier today in Cocodrie, Louisiana, and moved on up and is now in the middle of the state, just about. Very large and powerful hurricane. Another hurricane is Hannah, sitting here near the Turks, Caicos, and the Bahamas, and this could be a powerful hurricane impacting the southeastern United States and potentially Florida in just a couple of days. And despite the upper level wind shear from Hurricane Gustav, it has been able to strengthen. And off the screen we have another tropical storm that we'll talk about. Here's the latest on Hurricane Gustav as of 4 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. It was at 30.4 north, 92.0 west. Winds were down now to 80 miles per hour, gusting to 95. Still moving quickly to the northwest at 16 miles per hour, 966 millibars, so the pressure rising. And it is forecast to slow down and pretty much dissipate, but still some heavy rains are possible. Again, we do have those watches and warnings out for the coastline, of course. There's the wind radii, and we still have those hurricane force winds occurring across the land masses. And really from the Texas border all the way into Mississippi, we do have that wind radii, and that caused some storm surge problems all the way over to Mississippi. You've been seeing some pretty high storm surge. Now, Gustav did start to strengthen as it made landfall, and it strengthened a bit, and then it kind of wrapped around and held its own. You can see there's the eye on the infrared starting to shrink in the convective size, so it definitely is starting to show signs of weakening as it interacts with land. You can see the visible satellite loop as it came in. It was looking better, and then it made landfall, and now you can see the eye starting to kind of dissipate out a little bit, so that is good news that it is weakening. Now, the hurricane made landfall as a Category 2 hurricane, and it may have even been a little weaker than 110. That's a moderate damage. That's a lot different than the extensive damage. And think about it, when it hit Cuba, it was almost a Category 5, so it had extreme damage when it hit Cuba. Of course, you can see the radar now, the hurricane moving northwestward quickly, still holding on to good rainfall and a lot of decent thunderstorm activity, no doubt. Now, looking beyond Gustav, you can see here we do have Hurricane Hannah sitting here, and it does look like it's getting sheared and displaced, but it has been strengthening regardless. Here's the latest on Hurricane Hannah as of 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It was at 22.2 north, 72.6 west. Winds were up to 80 and gusting to 95. Same strength as Gustav, only strengthening. 983 millibars, is drifting south-southwest at 3. And it's expected to continue that slow westerly drift the next 24-36 hours and then start to move and strengthen as the high pressure kind of backs off and sail it right into the East Coast. But there is uncertainty as to whether or not that's South Florida or North Carolina. It should eventually turn up and out, but only after it hits land, and is forecast by the Hurricane Center to be a powerful 100-mile-an-hour Category 2, making landfall somewhere in Georgia, South Carolina. But again, that there is a lot of uncertainty in just how strong and where exactly that track will go. You can see the visible satellite loop there. Again, it does look like it is just kind of sitting there and spinning, and despite the shear, it's bubbling, and that is very foreboding. Here are the models, and no real good agreement, at least not in the short term. They're all kind of clustered, but all of them agree that it'll eventually get up and out towards the southeast coast. So if I were living in Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, and the North Carolina area, the entire southeast, I'd be carefully watching Hurricane Hannah. Now, there's Hannah bursting there. We have this little wave here that has a low chance for development. With Hannah's outflow, it shouldn't be able to do much. This system out here was an invest, but it's not anymore. But this is a new tropical storm. This is Tropical Storm Ike. And Ike, as of 5 p.m., was at 17.7 north, 40.6 west. It had increased to 50 miles per hour, gusting to 65, moving straight west at 16 very quickly, 1,000 millibars, and the track's expected to be west to west-northwest. It should become a hurricane by Wednesday morning, 36 hours from now. And then as the ridge of high pressure, that clockwise flow, rebuilds, it should not only get pushed even further west, but maybe even drift a little west-southwest. So the likelihood of Ike making it out to sea, if it were at this point, it would have to make a huge right turn suddenly to miss land altogether, and even then it would threaten Bermuda, and that's just not going to happen. This thing is going to very, very likely head towards land masses further west as a hurricane. And you could see there over the course of the day as the sun starts to go down, it has looked impressive curvature there. And there is the model guidance in very good agreement. The Hurricane Center has very good confidence that this will continue west to west-northwest and then bend back west, the classic dangerous Cape Verde hurricane aim. And a few computer models do make this a powerful hurricane. The Canadian way down here in the Caribbean, UK Met further north, the H-WRF down here, and the GFDL in the middle with the no gaps, and the BAM models. The consensus is generally in this direction towards the Bahamas. And we'll see if after that there is a curve to the north, but as of right now, some of the models do take this generally towards Florida, the Bahamas, so it's something we have to watch very carefully. We also have to watch this. This is Invest 99L. This is likely to become our next storm. It'd be named Josephine, and the models with this generally west-northwest off Africa, although right now it's moving straight to the west. So in the final analysis, Hurricane Gustav, a powerful Category 2 hurricane in Louisiana, made landfall devastating Cuba. Western Cuba is a Category 4, almost a 5. Thankfully, some southerly wind shear helped keep it from strengthening into a Category 4 or 5 before landfall. And even though storm surge was bad, it was nothing like Katrina or Rita. Hurricane Hannah down here is unexpectedly strengthened. It should meander, fluctuate, and then strengthen and head generally towards the southeast coast from Florida to North Carolina. Watch it. As for these two areas in the Atlantic, keep an eye on them, but nothing's really expected of either of them. As for Ike, it is expected to become a hurricane in 36 hours and bend west and be heading straight towards the Bahamas. If you are in the Bahamas and the east coast of the United States, you need to carefully watch Ike and watch what's off Africa as well. That'll do it for the tropics this time. I'll see you tomorrow.